Bitcoin is going to the moon. We've reached today almost 90,000, and I'm going to provide you today some updates, some analysis, some price prediction for this and also for the next year, what I want to see price doing, when I'm going to exit. Very important, guys. I'm not going to make any form of predictions. I'm going to give you here a fundamental game plan, right, which is going to work, which you can use for your advantage to make your own plan and decisions. Because in the cryptocurrencies, you got to understand, most of the people, even though if the price is going so much to the upside, are just gonna lose money because they have no exit strategy, they have no idea about how to scale in and all these things. And I'm gonna provide you today everything that you need, so make sure to share this video with a crypto friend who needs this information. So let's go, let's get it started with our time cycle. So time and price is in general something super important in trading, but also for the cryptocurrencies. You gotta understand, it's a very easy thing to look after, which is that when market or when money comes into the market, it's always it goes through cycles, right? There are those smart money traders, right? Those ones with big cash or the big investors, right? And they're gonna actually always put the money in a specific asset. But then after a specific rise in profits, what they're gonna do is actually they're gonna take some profits out of it. And they're gonna put the money on some other assets, right? And therefore, you will see that not every asset will always pump at the same time. You will see there are a slight delay, right? Of course, if something is bullish, right, with a good times right now with US Trump, I'm going to explain you right now why Bitcoin even pumped so much to the upside, the specific reasons behind it. But what you got to understand is that you have those specific cycles. And yes, you will see Bitcoin, but also some altcoins pumping. But this is not an altcoin season yet, right? Like it's not really going through the roof or something like that. You see only Bitcoin, the main mover, pushing up higher. You see some stocks pushing like crazy, but not everything. And the cycle says that the money from the main movers are gonna go into different assets when it reached a specific level. The level when those institutions are gonna take profit. Automatically the money will come out of it because nothing can go to the upside forever. Something which people don't want to hear sometimes, and they have sometimes a wrong belief when it comes to that one thing. So I'm going to show you now quickly, one more time here, this cycle and what I mean and what I'm expecting, how the money will get distributed in this cycle. So you have the main mover, which is BTC. This is Bitcoin, right? It's the main mover right now in the cryptocurrency. What else do you got? As the next one, you got the top 10 altcoins, right? What do we have in the top 10? We got Solana, we got Ethereum, we got BNB, and so on, right? So after price and Bitcoin reach a certain level, there's gonna come a little bit of profit from the Bitcoin into these top 10. Then we're gonna split it into the top 100, right? Top 100 cryptos, and then you will see also like which crypto project is gonna survive, which one is not gonna survive, and so on. And then you're gonna come into some micro, right? Into some micro crypto, which are like not really existent, right? Some good projects or where people believe there's a good intention behind it whatsoever, right? I'm not a big fan of altcoins in general, but I understand the cycle of money, and this is why they're gonna pump as well. And if you are someone who has done some good analysis and understands right now why a specific crypto coin will pump, then do it, right? Then you got the last thing, which are the meme coins, right? Which got very, very popular recently. And this is the reason why Solana is so popular, because everything goes through Solana. So this is why Solana is definitely one of the top 10, because Solana will be used heavily also in the last part of the cycle, right? If this would not exist, Solana would not be that popular. All right. And when that cycle ends, the entire rest of the money comes back into Bitcoin, right? Because you gotta understand, when this happens, this is actually right now a pullback, right? Like for instance, you see Bitcoin pumping, right? And then it's gonna make a huge pullback, retracement, and during that phase when the Bitcoin is retracing, this entire money will be get swept into some altcoins, right, or even meme coins and so on, and then you will see that those ones are gonna start to pump, gonna bring price up higher and higher and higher. And when these meme coins and these altcoins has reached their specific top or some high price, they're gonna again realize the profits and put it back into BTC. And then again, Bitcoin can pump up higher and so on. Like, this is kind of the theory, right? It's not every cycle the same. There was also like a cycle model for Ethereum where everyone said, all right, Ethereum is a blue chip coin. It's going to pump. It's going to outperform Bitcoin. For now, it doesn't look like that, right? Like, for now, Ethereum looks quite bad. And I still would say like the top cryptos, if you want to go for, is like the number one, of course, is Bitcoin. The second one would be, from my point of view, Solana. And the third one would be then Ethereum. All the other ones, I'm super skeptical when it comes to these projects because they have no longevity from my point of view. Even Ethereum, I would not say it has some form of longevity. I would say Solana has more potential just because of this meme bubble, right? This is why it's interesting, why it's gonna pump, and you gotta understand that, right? There are a lot of investors, Bitcoiners, and some would say, I'm not touching meme coins because the chances to make money with meme coins are so low. I understand that, and it's probably a smart way to think like that. But I gotta say, you need to follow the money at the end, right? And whenever money flows in, you can also make money if you're smart enough, if you understand it. If you don't understand it, don't touch it. It's very important. This is why the safe place is always Bitcoin. If you go into Bitcoin, it's always gonna be a very success story for you. But all right, this is right now kind of the overall cycle. Let's just dive into the Bitcoin cycle itself, right? The time cycle of Bitcoin, which I've teased already a little bit. And for that, I'm just using right now here the monthly chart. I'm using the logarithmic here, and I'm gonna right now show you some interesting levels. I go to the 12-month chart, so I can actually put the yearly cycles into it, and you will see something very, very interesting. Like, I've used this in the last cycle and it worked perfectly, and I think it's gonna work the same way this time as well. So we're now gonna go into a lower time frame, like the weekly time frame, and you will now see the idea behind it. The idea is that you have every single time 3 years of a bull market, 1 year of a bear market, right? That may change in the future, we don't know, but I believe this is a very natural thing, right? Because nothing can go up to the upside, even though it's always going up higher than it's dropping. That's a good thing. This is why you see Bitcoin looking like a crazy bullish trend line or something, right? Even though there are people trying to claim, oh, breakout, blah, blah, blah. No, this thing looks kind of like this. It's a very, very bullish asset, and it's going to continue moving up higher. If you want to see it or if you don't want to see it, it's going to happen. It's crazy. It has to do a lot with mathematics, and you will see it makes a lot of sense. So what I try to tell you now is, like, you see here, though, this is the bear phase, right? 1 year of bear market. You've had here 3 years bullish, right? 3 year bullish, 1 year bearish. 3 years bullish, 1 year bearish. 3 years bullish, and now 1 year bearish. And right now, we're in the second year of being bullish. And you see, we're kind of the end of the year, right? And we're marking right now some tops. The interesting thing is that every single time after the third year, like kind of at the end of these 3 year cycle, right? 3 year cycle, you've seen we've been kind of at the top. Here, in this case, December, November. Here, it was in December, right? And so on. This was the only one where it was a little bit earlier, like it was at the beginning of November. But also fine, right? At the end. And so on. And I'm expecting the same to get repeated. History is gonna get repeated very often because it's the same psychological things behind it. Yes, we have now institutions and so on, like many would claim now. You're right, but this is the reason why I can even go so much up higher, why I could continue going up higher, right? The emotions and everything is not changing right now. Even though those big institutions have some big plans for Bitcoin and so on, still, it's gonna drop at some point. And don't forget that. Don't believe it's gonna, like right now, just pump. Yes, there are scenarios and possibilities that this is gonna be different, but I would say the cycle model here makes a lot of sense, and so far it worked. And of course, we should look and validate it with the fundamental data that we will have back in the future then. But yeah, for now, what is my expectation? My expectation is that the end of the next year is going to be the end of the bull run. Before then, we will see again a bear market. The bear market doesn't need to be too crazy, right? It could just drop a little bit, a couple of percentages, and then 1 year later, again, continue moving up higher. So I think this is a very good opportunity for us to understand how we're going to manage our money in Bitcoin, like our portfolio. What I would say is the best thing, right, in a situation like this is actually right now to not take profits too early. Yes, you can take profits right now already because it's a very good move, right? Bitcoin has performed already from this low here. We can take this over a low here till the current era right now already 480%, which is insane. You will see also that till this first push up where it broke the previous all-time high, that was also a very interesting push up. In this case, that was an incredible push of almost 400%. We had a pullback of around 33%. And now my personal expectation is that we're going to see price pumping one more time around 400%. And I'm going to tell you specifically why. That will bring us to a price prediction of around 250,000. Sounds crazy. It's not from my point of view. Like there are people expecting more. I believe I'm in kind of a good sweet spot with around 250,000 for Bitcoin because we understand BlackRock has shared the news that the Bitcoin ETF has made more money than they could accumulate with their gold ETF in the past 15 to 20 years. It's insane. Bitcoin is definitely very popular. And with the current election, right, with Donald Trump being now the new president, a lot of pro-Bitcoiners are coming into the space now, right, into the government. And they're gonna right now form the future according to crypto lovers, especially Bitcoin lovers. There are a lot of plans already ahead that they plan to do. Like, I don't know right now specifically what they're gonna do, and I don't really care because I know they are all pro crypto, especially pro Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is a very good solution right now for our money problem, and that could prevent us from a big crash. Even though I believe we will see some form of crash, which could, of course, also affect the Bitcoin price and could affect it in a very negative way, but only short term. Very important. You got to understand when it's going to affect something long term or when it's going to affect something short term. From my point of view, it's going to affect it only short term, and I expect something in the first quarter of the next year that something is going to happen. Like the end of the year, super bullish, right? To everyone to enjoy Christmas and so on. Then the next year, like always, new year always starts with something negative. That's what I'm expecting personally, kind of. And that is going to drag prices a little bit lower. But not too low, but still a little bit. I don't even see Bitcoin right now from the level where it is going below 50,000. Like I see almost no chance that this is going to happen. It might be a chance there, but it's so low that I don't want to even talk about it. I even believe now price is gonna continue moving up higher, another 400% in the next 1 year. And that's kind of my game plan. Like I have the plan or the strategic plan to actually exit a bigger position at the end of next year. Till then, Bitcoin is still the best alternative solution to save your money, to actually save your time and energy for the future, because it's going to increase. When you put everything into the US dollar or in euro or any other fiat currency, it's going to actually lose in value over time. With Bitcoin, you're going to actually see an increase, at least a statistical increase, no matter at what price you're buying. That's a huge advantage. You just have to understand the entire thing and to hold the entire time. So my game plan is you should actually put for yourself some levels, key levels, 100,000, take 5% in profit or 10% in profit. The next one at 150, the next one at 200, the next one at 250, or at the end of the next year. If you're doing it that way, you can actually really like get some profits out of it, and with the average win, you will actually have a quite good result. That's the only thing that I want to actually provide for you guys, which I believe is something you have to understand, you have to know, and you have to think of, right? Don't try not to be the superhero, right? I would not just hold it till 1 million, have targets like this. Yes, if you want to do it for the next couple of years, that's totally fine. If you want to do it right now and expecting it that this is going to happen the next month, you're doing something wrong here, I would say. Like, this is a little bit too unrealistic. It cannot even backed by data. There has to happen some extreme scenario, something very crazy has to happen in the world in order to this to come true, which I don't believe, if I'm honest. So yeah, this is actually my analysis, my expectation, my prediction at the end, right? Also for now, like if we're checking out the current situation, I think we will now see Bitcoin very soon pumping up higher. Maybe one more time coming lower. It's gonna depend right now how we're gonna close, but I think we're gonna see very soon over 100,000. We've had such a big accumulation here, guys. Definitely I want to see price coming up higher. It's like insane. At least right now, if I'm using here a little bit my Fib tool, you can always use deviations. So from my point of view, something like 2.5 deviation makes a lot of sense that this might happen, maybe even higher. So you see even here with the deviations, you have here some specific targets that you can go for. At the end, I don't really know how much is gonna help you. You can also overlay the deviations on the previous movement, like this one, and try to see and overlay these things. You see the 4 deviation and the 2.5 are even overlaying perfectly. Might be something interesting. It's like at the 150,000 key level. Could be also an interesting price point to expect price, right? To start with some deeper pullback when that happens, right? Something like this. Before then, till the end of the year, here you see summer liquidity, right? I'm also expecting some low to get formed during summer. Maybe we're gonna push up higher right now. I don't know how fast this is gonna happen, but I'm expecting definitely some accumulation throughout the summer after an expansion, and then one last push till the end of the year. And if we're gonna reach these levels here, 250, right? You see here even the deviations, right? 290,000, something like this, right? When we are at that area, I will definitely take a bigger profit out of the market, because I'm expecting then price to come into a bigger correction, right? A bigger correction, which doesn't need to be too crazy, but if it's dropping like from around this level here from 230 or 290, if it's dropping lower till 160, I think it's still a very smart movement if you could actually enjoy the profits and put something back the moment when we are here, and we will then see again the start of the next year, and then expecting again a new bull run to get formed and to see price again reaching new all-time highs. Don't just believe that the price is going to continue moving up higher forever, because it's not. This was a good proof for everyone that this is not existent. So many people, when price was here, right, nobody believed it's going to go up. It went up. When it went up, everyone believed it's going to shoot to over 100,000. But what it's doing, it actually dropped dramatically. Most of the people didn't expect that. Everyone was mad, was angry, was sad, whatsoever. Only the smart guys have been super lucky because they had now a bigger time to accumulate their position. This is exactly the reason why price is accumulating. And afterwards, it pushed all the way up higher. Extreme breakout. So also for now, price is going to move in pullbacks, right? It's not just going to pump the entire time. So super curious to see how everything is going to be formed in the future. This is kind of my game plan, my price target. You see, I don't really want to make a top prediction by just having a look at a price level. I just want to do it more than likely with a time perspective to it, which should be, from my point of view, at the end of the year. So around the end of the year, right? Like here, December, November, October, each of these months could be the end of the Bitcoin bull run and then seeing a bigger correction, right? And don't get me wrong, the correction is not bad. The correction is exactly what we all want to see. Even for those ones who are 100,000% pro Bitcoin, they also want to have a correction. They can accumulate more positions. And every single time when the price is doing these pullbacks, you might see an altcoin season, you might see a meme season, you might see an NFT season. All of these things might happen because it's boring to have the money in Bitcoin at that moment. So everyone is putting their money into these alternatives. All right. With that being said, guys, hope this video was helpful for you to understand further things about Bitcoin, and see you with a new update in the future. Have a nice one, guys.